Victory roll. Hey, I got them. Hello and welcome to HobbyKing.com. My name is Stuart and I'm here for a flight demo today on a model that we've had for quite a few years, but is definitely one of the finest scale Spitfires out there. I'm of course talking about the Avios Spitfire. This is the MkVB tropical version. Now this is going to be a quick and dirty flight demo video. I'm still waiting for the cameraman to arrive, so I'm doing this part myself, talking about the model, and then we'll go out and give it a flight demonstration. The reason I want to give a flight, there's my face in the sun, sorry, it's rather sunny here today, there we go, it's a bit better. The reason I wanted to give a flight demo of the MkVB is because this version, this tropical version, is in stock in the US, and as you can see it is sporting a US scheme. Now up until now you wouldn't have seen the American scheme as an option on the site, although it was included. We didn't have pictures of it. We do now have pictures, and we are now going to have a flight demo of this version as well. So I'm going to turn the camera around and look a bit closer at the model. Now, the Americans in the early to mid stages of World War II did fly Spitfires out in North Africa, and this particular scheme is very, very cool with the shark mouth, following on from the P-40s that would always wear the shark mouth. This is a scow scheme. Of course, the Avios Spitfire is a very, very scow model, and so it's very fitting that it would have a scow scheme. You know how, well, if you don't know, it does fly very, very well. The Avios Spitfire is probably one of the best flying Spitfires, if not the best flying Spitfire in the foamy market. I can say that with 100% confidence because it does fly exceptionally well. Not only that, is it probably one of the most scaled detailed. Not the biggest foamy, but definitely one of the most scaled detailed. But it's convenient size at 1450mm. Now this has a Aerostar Outrunner and 80 amp speed controller, and it's flying off of a 6S 3000 to 4000 milliamp hour pack. That's the basics of the model. I'll talk about it a bit more generically about the history of it as I'm flying it, and we'll get on with the flight review now. As soon as my cameraman arrives, we'll pop out and we'll give the flight demo of the Avios Spitfire in the American scheme. Okay, so we're out on the strip now. As I said, it was just a brief introduction because I don't know if you can make out behind us, but we're setting up for a big event, our show event. Sorry, our club event this weekend at the field that we fly here in the Netherlands. So I've got to hurry up and get this flight review done and out of the way, so everyone else can help out and get on.
There's even train stopping.
Preparation.
There's even train stopping.
Oh, is there? Just for us? Oh, how nice. There is a train line in the background. Right, so anyway, we're here to do the flight demo of the Avios MkVB Spitfire. This is the tropical version. Tropical is denoted by this additional air filter, the Volks filter that they had on the Spitfires in the desert in World War II. So I'm just going to get straight into it. The wind is a little gusty and changeable. Right now it's calm, but in a minute it will pick up, but the Spitfire copes perfectly fine. I'm going to give it a little trim when we get up, and I'll taxi around behind us and go straight into the takeoff. So if we're ready, we'll go. Now, as with all tail draggers, I always go up into mid-rates for taxiing on the ground, just to give me a little extra elevator authority. So as long as the wind doesn't misbehave, it should be just fine. So let's just go around here. I'm holding full up elevator there, just to keep that tail nicely planted down. And watch it when with the Spitfire, you got to watch it when taxiing, you know, downwind and crosswind. Okay, so there she is. She's in position. I've flicked now into low rates. On a hold full up elevator when slowly applying power, and give it a little bit of right because it's got that nice scow 3-blade propeller, and we're taking off. Slowly ease on the power, correct with the rudder and the steering, ease off the elevator, at half throttle now, ease up on the elevator, away she goes. Look at that. Now that's a half throttle climb out, just half. I'm going to give it a bit more now coming round. Just check the trims. Needs a little bit of, there we go. How's that looking now?
Gorgeous.
I haven't much gone above half throttle, so I'm give a little more trim this way, a little bit of aileron.
Yeah?
We'll bring it round into wind for a full power pass. Ready?
Nice.
Okay, here we go. It's a little bit gusty, but Avios Spitfire in the American scheme. Oh, look, it really zooms straight up. Beyond scale power, of course, but it's got very, very beyond scale flight performance in that it flies exceptionally well. Now, Andries, you have one of these,
Yep.
and you're not a Scow fly or warbird fan as
I'm
such,
a
but,
pattern 3D guy.
but you really enjoy how this one flies, right?
It does knife edge. It doesn't really know how to stall.
Yeah, it's pretty benign in the stall, right?
It's very benign, and you can do lovely slow rolls and rolling circles and rolling loops even. It's got heaps of power.
Okay,
The kind of power you expect with a pattern plane.
and beyond that Scow envelope. But I mean, for me, it can do that great. That's really nice to hear. And we'll explore the stall in a minute, but I just like doing the far more Scow passes like that. There we go. And now if you're coming up, this is in stock at the moment in the US warehouse. And if you're coming up for the 4th of July holiday, which is, I believe, Independence holiday from the British, right? Andrews,
Probably,
do
yeah.
you know? Yeah, I think so. So, bit of a quirk to your celebration of Independence Day. You can be flying a British-made fighter in American skiing whilst they fought together as allies against the Axis in World War II. So if you want to twist to your 4th of July celebrations, get the Avios Spitfire and apply the supplied American desert skiing. There we go, another pass down. A little bit windy, a little bit of a wing over. Can you see that shark mouth sticking out there?
I think so, yeah.
It's getting knocked about. These winds are probably gusting 15 miles an hour now.
Have you told them about the quality of the decals? 'Cause that blew me away.
We'll go into that.
Yeah.
So as these are one of the sets of decals, or decals, I like to call them decals, I think that's wrong, but that's what I like to call them, supplied in the box. They are vinyl type, and I normally apply a little bit of heat with a covering iron when applying these. Andries, you said you didn't need to, did you?
Well, I just don't pay attention to the manual. I think that's probably it. But it worked.
You should have done, because I worked quite hard on that manual.
Yeah, it turned out great. So.
Well, if you do pay attention to the manual, you'll see that it does recommend a covering iron, just on a low temperature, just to help them adhere a little stronger. But still, Andries didn't use it, and it still worked out very, very well. Just doing some nice Scow stuff as we talk about the decals. Anyway, so in the box you get a choice of, I think it's 2 or 3 Scow schemes.
Yeah, 2 schemes.
One of which is included in this American scheme. It's a little time consuming to apply with that shark mouth around the Vaux filter, but it's well worth it because it really looks the part. But other than that, they're straightforward to apply. You just need to take your time a bit. And speaking of shark mouth, let's bring it in for a slower pass and see if we can get a little more of appreciation of that. Bit windy now, but let's see what we can do. You see that?
Oh yeah, there's that wind again.
It really suits that Vaux filter, that shark mouth. That worked out really well. That's the pull out on the stock 6S. This is a 6S 3200 pack. Anything from a 3000 to a 4000 pack will fly this Avios Spitfire just fine, and long flight times too, in excess of 6 or 7 or 8 minutes depending on your flying style. But it's a pussycat, but at the same time it's a beast as well in terms of power and performance. Here we go, here's a full power pass, and I'll bank and yank round the side here as well. Really great warbird performance, but sports Scow I call this style of flying. Farnborough pass, nice, holding it really well. Do a gunning pass now, come in, keep it full power, and I'll do a strafing run. Ready? Victory roll. Hey, I got them. So yes, all in all, a very Scow package, a beautiful flying Spitfire, and very forgiving. Speaking of forgiving, Andries, you mentioned it earlier, the stall, we'll pull it around.
It's silly almost.
And we'll get it into wind. And this is a Spitfire, remember, with that elliptical wing. This is into wind now. I'm gonna apply full up elevator in a minute. You got that? You got that?
Got it perfectly, yeah.
I'm waiting for it to slow down. Now I'm pulling up full.
Cute.
I am full up elevator.
Now you're stalling? Yeah.
Now I'm stalling, but it's kind of just, look, it's actually climbing.
Just mushing around.
That's
there
ridiculous.
It goes.
There's the stall.
Softly it rotates away.
So it's really benign. Let's get a dirty pass here with the gears down. Look at that. Yeah, every inch of the Spitfire, because it is a Spitfire and a very Scow one too. We'll do a touch and go now whilst the wind's died down a bit. The Spitfires are notorious for being tricky to handle, but we've engineered and cheated a little bit the undercarriage and the way it's configured to give you a good handling experience. So there we go, touch and go. Look at that, see the oleo's working lovely there. Even came in a little bit hard there at the end, but it took it like a champ.
Shows that climb out.
Yep, and then look at that blue sky. Stall turn off the top there. Really suits this desert scheme, because of course they would have been flying through hot blue skies all day long. Oh, it's really, really groovy now. The wind's died down a bit more. That's really, really fun. I'm going to do another Farnborough type show pass. Full power, a little bit of aileron, a little bit of rudder. Yes! Just needs a pilot. Not supplied with a pilot, but you can easily 3D print yourself a pilot, and that will really finish off this model nicely. So I'm going to bring it into land now, because it's A, it's fun, and B, it's about time. I'm going to put mid flaps on now. The wind's typically just picked up. I think I'll try mid flaps now. Just not scowl, but with the mid flaps, it's nice to have the option on this wind. So I'm going to bring bleed off the power now. Keep flaring, flaring, bit of power, flaring, 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 flaring. Fly onto the deck like that. Go into full elevator when you land. Full high rates elevator. The moment that it settles down, that will keep the tail parked. A little tip for flying with Spitfire. Now I'm going to try and taxi it back to us, but invariably when there's a tailwind and you taxi with a Spitfire, it doesn't like it. But let's see what we can do.
Let's give it a shot.
Let's give it a shot. I mean,
it's either going to be good or it's going to be fun.
I mean, here we go. It's found the one bump.
Just take a bigger circle. That always works for me.
I'm high rates on elevator now, and I've just flicked into low rates on the rudder. Now if I can just, this is downwind, which is notoriously tricky with a Spitfire, but holding full up elevator in high rates, the ground handling is very, very good, even for a Spitfire. And that's because we worked very, very hard to engineer it that way. So turning around now, look at that. Really performing and behaving just as she should. So there we go. That was the Avios MkVB tropical version of the Spitfire. This is in stock now in the US warehouse, and as a special treat we thought we'd dress it up in the supplied US scheme. There is of course a RAF scheme, but there is a USAAF North African scheme with the shark mouth, which I think looks very, very cool. You wouldn't have seen the pictures of this on the web copy before. We've got photos of that now, so click the link underneath this video for the listing of the Avios Spitfire. It's in stock in America, and in the US warehouse they do ship to other countries as well, so it's definitely worth checking out, and hopefully soon it will be back in stock in the international warehouse. So if you're looking for the best flying Spitfire on the market in foam, you can't go wrong with the Avios Spitfire. It is in stock now. It flies in a convenient size pack, good long flight times, and it looks beautiful doing it. So thanks very much for watching. Look out for another flight demo coming at some point soon here at HobbyKing.com, and I'll see you then. Bye.